Hi, we are here today with another one of the students from the campus of the hotel school. Would you mind introducing yourself?
No, not at all. My name's Noah Bradley. I study here in Maastricht at the hotel school, and I hail from Luxembourg. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about Luxembourg. I don't know much about it.
There's not much to tell. It's a small country. It takes about an hour to get through it, so and most times people see it as a stop to get to France or so.
Did you live there your entire life?
Yeah, I've lived there for 21 years now.
That's a lot. And have you traveled much outside or did you just spend your time there?
You mean as in?
Yeah, did you visit other countries?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're living in Luxembourg, you can pretty much easily get out of the country and you're straight away in another country, so that's pretty interesting. So I've traveled to all our neighboring countries: Belgium, France, Germany, then the Netherlands, and then there's a whole bunch more.
Would you mind listing them for me?
Oh God. Where should I start? Egypt, China, the States, Mexico. I've been to Spain, Italy, Greece, um, Denmark, England, or UK rather. There's probably a lot more, but
So
now
what
I'm
I'm
drawing
hearing
blanks.
is that you lived a pretty international life. Do you think that influenced your decision to come here?
Oh, definitely. I really wanted to leave Luxembourg and have a more broader international environment. Luxembourg does tend to be a bit reserved, like folded on to itself. And I thought if I came to the Netherlands, speaking English, get to know more people, that would be an added bonus.
Sounds fair enough. And what made you choose hotel management out of all the possible choices that were international?
Hotel management, well, I always wanted to go into the hospitality industry. Don't per se want to be stuck in a hotel, but that's the only way to get into the hospitality industry. So I chose that, and then later on, I will be able to do whatever I want. Let's say maybe I'll fulfill my dream and have my own cafe, but maybe I'll also have something else later on. Life's long. I don't know. Maybe I end up having a food truck.
Do you have a concept for your cafe or for your food truck for now?
I mean, for the food truck, I could probably go with a taco stand back home because there's not a single one. And I think I could probably corner the market late at night because there's no shops open. And if I open up a taco stand and everybody's coming to Luxembourg to going to the city in the night to drink and have a taco stand, I think that would be quite popular. And for a bar or a cafe, I think I'd go with an old school jazz bar, something more quiet and reserved.
So more of a traditional personality, would you describe yourself as?
Probably, yeah.
Tell me, is there any holiday in Luxembourg that you haven't encountered anywhere else, or some sort of a tradition that you only see in Luxembourg?
Not really, except for the national holiday, but that's a given.
Well, can you tell me something about it? Because since it's a national holiday, no one else has it.
So it's on the 21st of July,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope I got that right. Otherwise, Luxembourg will kill me. Anyway, we celebrate our Grand Duchy's birthday, and that's how it came to be. It's not the date, but it got shifted to that date, and ever since it's stuck. So that date is now our national holiday.
Please tell me more about that because I have never heard anything about it and I am genuinely curious and intrigued.
I mean, there's not that much to tell. We have our Grand Duke,
Mm-hmm.
and we just decided at some point we were gonna celebrate his birthday, and then it became a national holiday.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Actually, Romania, where I'm from, still celebrates a royalty day,
Hmm.
even though we have a president now. So I get that. It's definitely something interesting to celebrate. Hmm. What else could I ask you? Yes, if you could go back in time and choose another university, would you choose the same?
Uh, I'm really not sure because when I started out, I was really into the Hotel School The Hague. But after going there and then coming here for the selection there, the process, I was way more intrigued with this school. So as it stands now, actually, I wouldn't think this would be my definite choice for now.
So, are you generally satisfied with the school and how the school has dealt with the COVID situation, with classes and everything?
I mean, I'm not going to fault the school for having online classes at the moment, but other
Of
than
course,
that,
but do you think they're like still useful? Of course, they're not gonna be as useful as real classes, but do you feel like you're getting skills that you signed up for?
yeah, definitely. I mean, having them physically is a lot better, but we're still going through the same subjects and the same materials, so in that sense, I'm pretty satisfied. It's just not as entertaining or as engaging when it's online, but that's also
And
alright.
you told me that you chose this school because of the international environment in general. How is it to live with students from all over the world and study with them? Do you feel like the school is accommodating international students?
To be honest, the school is not doing the greatest job. I mean, there's a big they still separate Dutch and international stream much more than I thought when I initially came.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, they're not doing a great job. But living on campus with internationals is very interesting. Of course, it has its ups and downs, but I mean, in general, I'm more for the ups of getting to know new people, getting to know new cultures, and interacting with people that I otherwise would have never met.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you have any sort of cultural shock, either coming here or meeting someone from a different culture?
no, not yet. I mean, we have people that hail from all over the place, but I haven't had a shock. It's interesting, but not shocking to me.
I see, so you would consider yourself a really accepting person.
I hope so.
Um, Tell me about some funny stereotypes that in Luxembourg you have about other people, and if you recognize them in students here that are from other countries.
Oh, stereotypes. I mean,
Would you say that the Germans are always on time?
hard to say. I mean, everything's online. But I would generally say yeah. And also the stereotypes of Germans being hardworking is pretty much on that level. And then,
On the same level, I got to hear some stereotypes about people from Suriname being always late. And I know you do live on the same floor as someone who's from there. Do you think they are always late?
kind of, I think that's a South American thing. Just you say 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes mean from 10 minutes on, they might decide to come in the next 30 minutes. So,
How about stereotypes about people from Luxembourg? Do you think, like, what's the stereotype that you consider true, and maybe there are some stereotypes that you consider wrong about people from your country?
so Luxembourg oftentimes has the stereotype of being snobby. So we're a lot of countries think we're just wealthy, rich kids that just live life in luxury. And I have to agree, it is true for the most part. Um, the one thing we're apparently also very reserved. That's something I cannot judge because I know a lot of people because being reserved. I think every culture has
Mm-hmm.
people that are reserved, and every place has people that are more outgoing. So I'm not gonna agree on that one.
Isn't it a bit contradicting to have people that are very snobby and also very reserved in the same time?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, you don't have to flaunt your wealth all the time.
But you would say that if you do, people do assume you're more snobby than if you didn't.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes, if you do flaunt your wealth all the time, people would probably say that you're more snobby than if you
Yeah,
didn't.
I mean, definitely. But I hope some people can just live with their wealth without sharing it with other people.
Tell me about some traditional dishes from Luxembourg, since you're saying that people are so wealthy. Do you feel like you're using ingredients that are more exquisite than other countries from Western Europe use?
Definitely not. I mean, Luxembourgish cuisine, our own cuisine, is. Not sure if this translate right, but it's considered like farmer's food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's oftentimes like leftover scraps or things that are cheap.
Mm.
But we have a lot of international cuisine, so like French cuisine, Italian, and then those are pretty expensive. They use high class ingredients, but traditional Luxembourgish dishes should not be.
What's a food item from Luxembourg that you can't buy here,
Something you can't buy here.
or that you find really hard?
Um, Probably Riesling's pastate. So that's a. You can imagine as like a meatloaf or like a meat paste encased in dough,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Riesling because they put like a little slit at the top.
Mm-hmm.
They put a little hole in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they pour Riesling inside, and then they cover it back up, and then it's baked in the oven.
Do you miss that in particular, or is any other food from Luxembourg that you miss having?
No, not especially. I can probably get most of it, and Riesling's pastate for me is like a festive food,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not something I would eat any day anyway. So for me, I don't miss it as much.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, what are, in your opinion, the best and the worst dishes from Luxembourg?
Mm, the best. I think I'd have to go with Wijnsauces, which is a wine sausage.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a sausage. Also, I think they in the meat when they prepare it, they also add wine to it. Then it's encased and you cook it, and it's very juicy. And it's often served with mashed potatoes and some sort of vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
That would be probably my favorite Luxembourgish one, and the one I don't see or don't care for that much is Feierstengssalat, and that's literally a meat salad.
A meat salad.
Yep,
What do you put in it?
meat. Uh,
Raw?
no, it's cooked. I still don't know why we have it and why we call it a meat salad because you could
Alright.
call everything a meat salad if you're going that far.
Tell me something about the dish you cooked. What is it called? What do you use for it? Where do you have the recipe from?
So the dish I cooked is called kniddelen met spek,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be in line with the farmer's food because it's literally eggs, flour, milk, and salt. And it's just a batter that you then boil in water,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a farmer's food in a sense because you kind of just use your leftover ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's very hearty because it's a dough. It's just meant to fill you up, but over the time they then pimped it. They add stuff to it. Like you have bacon with it, and you can now also get it at high class restaurants where they actually invest more time in making like a nice sauce with it, a mushroom sauce, and then they bake it with cheese in the oven. So they actually trying to make it more interesting, especially for foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a very traditional, very just plain dish.
Going back to the previous thing, you mentioned some party food, and I forgot to ask you then, but what are parties like in Luxembourg, like compared to Dutch parties, for example?
Oh, uh,
Are they bigger? Are they smaller? Do people drink beer, or do you have another favorite drink over there?
I think Luxembourg is also mainly beer drinking country. So the problem is with the COVID situation, I haven't really gotten to experience the Dutch parties. But I do expect them to be a lot bigger, a lot louder, rougher than Luxembourgish parties,
Mm-hmm.
just due to a lot more people being at a party in general here. Because the population's just bigger and you just have more people at the club. But I mean, back home, clubs are nice, but they're very expensive. You pay like €8 for a small beer,
Mm-hmm.
and oftentimes we would avoid them because it's very mainstream.
Full
So
of tourists?
full of tourists, full of young people. The bars and the clubs don't really have much atmosphere. They're just there for people to go and drink.
Mm-hmm.
And so we oftentimes have to go look around and find the dingy bars where you're more relaxed.
I see. So, what about like house parties or parties that aren't planned in clubs but made like wedding parties, for example?
I've not been to a wedding party, so. But,
Birthday parties in that case?
I mean, it's hard to tell. It should be the same as everywhere. It's just a normal house party. You invite as many people as you're comfortable with. Um, yeah, of course, you can't invite too many people because Luxembourg, if you invite too many people, you have the police on your ass immediately.
Really? What is too many people? Like, is it based on number or is it based on noises?
Based on both.
Huh.
I think if you have more than 50 people into your house, they're gonna start asking questions. And your neighbors are very likely to hear you because it's.
Well, granted, when the country has about 100 people in it, 50 people in a party is a bit too much.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
No, I don't think so.
Well, kids, stay hydrated and stay tuned for more videos from us.